Welcome to Magical Moments with Alena Chapman, the place for you to break free from the norm and celebrate your life, because what we believe in our hearts becomes our reality. This is Magical Moments with Alena Chapman.
Welcome to Magical Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman. And guys, you know, even in this hard time that we're having in this world, you deserve all that ease and that betterment. You really, really do. But you have to create it. So how do we do that? Well, I'll tell you something. It's with just starting to change your mindset. And this is our magical nugget. What I want to do is I'm going to give you some exercises this time. Concept and exercises. You're free to try them if you like. If you don't, you don't have to. But in this wonderful time of chaos, worry, doubt, frustration, anger, and every day seems to be a new drama. All right, stop. And I'd love to tell you to turn off the news. I'd love to tell you to turn off everything. Maybe you can't turn it off. And I know my mother's like that. So instead of turning it off, listen to only half. Bring yourself down to half. But here's things that you can really do. Take time to get out of the noise in nature. Go for a walk in your local park. You can wear your mask. Just go for a walk in your local park. Go where there is water. If there's any water, I don't care if it's a creek. I don't care if it's your bathtub. Go where there's water. It's healing. Allow it to soothe you. Put music on wherever you go as much as you can. Allow it to lift you out of whatever your thoughts are. Do things that nourish you. Make sure you stay connected with people and make the topic of the conversation something good, something moving forward. You can talk about COVID. You can talk about what's going on in the world. You can talk about the protests, but put it in a light that is proactive and positive outcomes. I'll tell you, when you do that, you start to see opportunities in everything you do. It is starting to nurture yourself and saying, you know what? I've got to calm my mind down. I've got to have some more clarity. When we are all focused on the constant worry, it puts us in a place, what do I want to say? It's like a tunnel. And as you worry more and more and more, you can't grab the sides of the tunnel as you are slipping down into it. And it's just going around and you're going down deeper and deeper into this worry, this doubt, this fear, this, oh my gosh, I can't deal. And there's no sides for you to hang on to. So what I'm giving you are the sides. I'm saying, wait a minute, stop it. Work out. Working out is a wonder. It releases all those endorphins. Oh my gosh. Just go for a walk. Grab the dog, grab the cat, grab the rabbit. I don't care, whatever you have. And go for a walk. Get outdoors. Get out where you can breathe. Get out where you're not put in by four walls. Get out into the world and just walk. And if you don't see anybody, even better. Because then you can hear the birds. You can see the birds. You can see life. You know, in my yard, I have watched this mother deer when she had these two little fawns from the very, very, very start. I mean, those things could barely walk. And I just thought, okay, so it's okay that I'm losing every hostas in my yard. And I really do have a garden that looks like Morticia's. But that's okay, because every day when I sit out on my porch, because she's not scared of me, she comes with her two little fawns. Oh my God. It's like all of a sudden my mind opens to hope. My mind opens to, there is so much goodness in this world. I just have to focus on the goodness. Be proactive with what's not good, but focus on the goodness. And from that point of goodness, when you open up to that, then you find, how can I make this world a better place? I was just saying on Facebook this morning, I did that. I was sitting at a Starbucks, actually, not nature, but it was a nice peaceful moment for me. And I was actually reading some books and doing some leftover work. It was a Sunday afternoon. And all of a sudden, I came up with this idea. I started thinking, well, why isn't anybody doing more? Notice how I put it out there. Why isn't somebody out there in Wonderland, why aren't they doing more about all these protests and this COVID and all this stuff? And then I started laughing because, well, that somebody is me. Why aren't I doing more? And when you can take control and you've done the work to see the hope, and you've opened your mind to that, and you're not caught down in the weeds of everything, then all of a sudden you can see how to be proactive. And what is the most powerful thing against worry, doubt, and fear? Being proactive. Taking control of your circle, of the place where you live. Taking control of your life. That's what beats worry, doubt, and fear and anxiety, folks. So I started to think, what could I do? And I thought, oh my gosh, I can open up what I do best and help others have this feeling of clarity and newness of ideas and focus before maybe the protests. And it doesn't matter what side, all are welcome to sit and have peace. And just do a short meditation. And when they do that, all of a sudden, it could start dialogues. It can start people thinking, okay, I'm out of the forest now. I'm not, okay, I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to really form some really positive ideas. I'm willing to have the betterment for all. Kind of cool. You get both sides doing that, and you've solved a problem with just doing meditation. But first you have to get yourself to the place where you're not swallowed up by the noise. So start focusing on those things you really, really know will do you well. Listen to the news half-time. Get yourself by water. Walk in nature. Get some exercise. Get yourself into a place where you're seeing hope and joy and love, and get yourself out of the weeds. Then you can look down up from above the trees, and you'll have all the ways that you can make this world a better place and yourself to feel better. Okay, that's my nugget for you this week. I hope that does. What I really want to do is I want to hear from you. I want to hear how many of you did it and what was your experience. Did it help? Did it not help? I want you to reach out either way because that's how I grow. You know, I love it. I love both. All right. So I am Alena Chapman, as you know, your host, and I am the guest of the show. So you know me a little bit. I don't know how many of you actually know everything. I am a 2-time international best-selling author. I'll give you a little bit of a bio really quick. And I am also a radio show host here and a podcast show host with this Magical Moments. But I also have a community called Soul Manifesto. And that is on Facebook, but it's also soulmanifesto.com. And I love this. I love this group because I think Soul Manifesto is attracting all the people who are all saying there's got to be better. And I want to connect to something bigger than myself. I want to learn how to be totally in myself, knowing the glory of who I am and feeling comfortable with it. And they understand that I'm a soul curator. That's what I've been coined, and it's really true because I take all those, or a spiritual curator, I should say. I take all those modalities, those faiths, science, everything that I know, and I am learning more and more to just take all the nuggets, the real magical nuggets from everywhere and bring them to you. Because everything has that ultimate truth in it. You just have to learn and take from each of them. And my gosh, they can help you grow in so many ways. And that's what we do in Soul Manifesto. All right, so today is an Ask Alena Day. And I have got such interesting questions. Oh, I have to say, of all the questions that I have had lately, these are very interesting. I can tell you're listening to the shows. Let's put it that way. The very first question I think is fun. So let's start with that one. It says, you said, they didn't even say hi, Alena. So they must have written this right at the show. You said in your show with David Young that you get high from the music and that's why you never felt the need for drugs. What do you mean? I like this question. Okay. So David Young did this show. I think it was on last week. He's or 2 weeks ago. He creates meditative music. Very cool meditative music. The man is so cool. He plays the flute, like the Indian flute, but he actually can play two at the same time and have different fingering. So he's playing different notes on both. Now that's a talent. You're gonna have to watch. You're gonna have to listen to the show to see why he decided to develop that talent, which I think is so funny. But his music's wonderful. You can look him up on YouTube. Now, in our conversation, I said that in high school, and this is true, in high school, there were only like 3 of us that didn't do drugs. And I didn't want to do drugs. I didn't need to because I really did. I still do. I get high off the music. And what do I mean by that? Well, music, I've always had an active imagination. That's something that school and the nuns and everything else could not get out of me. And my imagination, I allow it to grow. It creates other worlds. It puts me in other places. It's fun. It's fun to daydream. It's fun to let it go. But because I let that imagination grow so much when I was a kid, and believe me, I didn't grow up in fairyland. Well, I kind of did in my imagination. But in my world, imagination was not prized. And, my family didn't prize it. Nobody prized it. And I was the only one because I knew that imagination seemed more real than some of the stuff I was seeing around me. I didn't understand why so many people were just so unhappy and why everybody was so darn bossy and why did they always feel like they had to tell me what to do. At that time, I was only 9, but I just wanted to get away. And my imagination just kept growing. And then I discovered how much I loved music. And I would just listen to the music and I allow the music to take me to wherever it goes. And I just go with it. And it's like a whole nother world. Now, it's funny because when I started working in music, what made me different as a conductor was my imagination. When I was told to conduct a women's choir and I didn't feel like I was qualified, I was a voice teacher, not a choir conductor. I did church choirs, but never on a collegiate level. And when I was asked to do it, I thought, oh my gosh, can I do this? And then I sat down under the tree and I went into my imagination. I said, okay. And I tickled my imagination. What do I want this choir to be? Why are women going to want to sing in it? Because it was a women's choir. Why are people going to come to it? And my imagination, because I just let it go, then all of a sudden I came to the realization, because right from out of the blue, because we're not only going to sing sound, we're going to paint pictures. we are going to paint the whole story of that music. And that opened me up into a whole new realm. We don't have to just sing pretty. No, we are going to blend those voices in so many incredible ways. Those women are going to come out of there going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And people in the audience are going to go, I get it. I get it. Now, see, that all came from my imagination, and that gives me such a high. And then to be surrounded by that sound, oh my Lord, you don't need anything else. It makes your day. So when people do any kind of drug, they either are trying to escape or they're trying to explore. And what I mean by explore, they're trying to delve deeper, trying to see the meaning of things, trying to understand better. Is there something bigger? Is there something more to this life? And sometimes they're trying to escape because their life right here just doesn't seem to please them. But when you open up your imagination and you find something, you allow music to just take you, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So what is it in your life? You know, this person, I hope I explained that totally, but that is really the truth. And to this day, I always have music. I have music on at least once to twice to 3 times a day. I'm so happy I got music playing through my whole house now. So everybody is going to get to hear my music. My boys will be so thrilled. I'm being funny. But the whole reason of having that music is just to, remind me at every single moment that there is something so much bigger at play. And if I open up my imagination, I can be there. And to hear those melodies and those harmonies, oh my gosh. Yeah. So for you, what is it that sets you on fire? What is it that really gets you to escape from this world and activate that imagination in another? Maybe it's reading, maybe it's sports, maybe it's doing the exercise yourself, maybe it's nature. And whatever it is, you owe it to yourself to really use it, go for it, be in it. Because that's where you're going to start to really create your imagination more and more. That's where you're going to allow your thinking to free up. And that's where the ideas are going to start coming. That's where you can touch divinity because you are totally in the present now. You're not worried about the past or anything. You are totally involved with whatever it is that you love to do. And because you love to do it and because you're in the present moment, that's when everything opens up. The imagination, the ideas, that divinity touches you, everything. So you really do owe it to yourself to find that incredible place. I hope that answered your question, and I hope it helps. And guys, maybe you'll find it in that meditation music. I love David Young's music, and I love Paul Cardell. And both of them have beautiful music out there. And that's just my opinion. I'm not doing a plug. There's just my favorites. You can tell me yours. All right, so we have another wonderful question. Do we have a question? Oh, yes. Here we are. I know one of these is actually more, we're going to have to speak to somebody who is not happy with what I say. But this one's another question. This is, hi. Hi back, by the way. I love your magical moments, Alena. You make everything sound so easy, but it's not. Okay. How do I make my own personal growth easier? Or is that even possible? Well, yes. That's why I tell you it's easy. All right, so let's talk. There are a lot of gurus, teachers. There are so many people out there that are talking and talking. We're all talking. I'm talking. Everybody's talking. And it seems that sometimes if we can make it hard, then you feel like you've accomplished something and that it's like a rite of passage. But, just sit back and think for a minute. Why would the universe make coming home so hard? Why would it? And why does it hold everything like manifesting, like living happy, like getting rid of the worry, doubt, and fear, and having confidence in yourself? And the ultimate truth is that spirit is love, and love is spirit. So why would it hide all this and make it so hard for you? That seems so silly because you're from there. So I've always found that the greatest truths are usually the very simplest ones. The truths that move your life into the most positive and monumental places are always very, very easy. We are the ones that make it hard. And I'll tell you, some of the greatest teachers I have ever had were ones that didn't tell me what to do. They were ones that offered suggestions and asked questions. And so what that does is it allows me to look inside myself. So your own personal growth, the first thing you have to realize in the very beginning is that you are perfect. You are perfect just as you are in this very, very moment. And that your growth is more for evolution and it's not a fix. You don't have to fix something. And as you evolve in yourself and learn about yourself, it's even more of an acceptance and it's more of a connection to source, whatever that is to you, heaven, God, universe, whatever you call it. But it's coming to that source in completeness. Not coming because of need, not coming because of weakness, although you can, but it's harder. Not coming in forms of I don't know, always asking, I don't know, always seeing yourself below, but coming as someone who is coming home. And to get there, it should not be hard. My best thing for you is to say, if it sounds hard, then life is hard. But if you really look at the people who ask questions, the people who tell stories, the people who do not tell you what to do, but offer suggestions and tell you, well, even I do this too, take that exercise and make it yours. Morph it into what works for you. Those are the teachers who understand there isn't one way. And there isn't one way. We are unique within ourselves, that each one of us evolves at a different rate in a different style. Different things hit us different ways. And every single one of us has that freedom to choose our own journey. And we do that accordingly to who we are inside. And the best thing you can do is to have someone who urges you to go inside and answer the questions. Not just do what I say. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start your little morning connection. Lord, I can't. I've had mentors that told me to get up early, and I just think no. See, right there. I know right there I'm in the wrong place. That's way too hard. So, yes, if you want someone that you're just getting a rite of passage into their world and their programs, then go for the person who makes it really difficult. But the person who gets you to say, wow, I never thought of it that way. And wow, I got to sit and really contemplate that. Or, wow, it feels right. And it seems so easy. That's the person you should be with. Those are the shows you should be listening to. I have never found something that was really, really hard fun to do. And also, just as a side note, personal growth is not painful. I always hear people tell me, oh, that was so painful and hard. Well, I have not found that, because I'll tell you what, with every step I've taken, with every little healing I have done, the release and the feeling of freedom, the feeling of having more confidence in myself, the feeling of understanding how everything I do reflects out into the universe in so many ways and has that incredible ripple effect, has been an awakening, not hard. Not hard. And because it's an awakening, I never feel like I want to stop. That's how you want to feel. I hope that answers your question. You're listening to Magical Moments, and I'm Alena Chapman, and this is Ask Alena. Hey, come on back, because maybe you can even comment and show me what you think about some of these questions that are coming up, because they are big ones. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're listening to Magical Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you find ease and betterment with every episode. Download more on your favorite podcast platform. Now, here's Alena.
Welcome back to Magical Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman. And my gosh, we're getting down to the heart of the matter of that ease and betterment. And I am doing an Ask Alena. And we had two incredibly insightful questions showing that people are, I love that you guys are not only just listening to the show as you're driving and you're doing 50 other things, but you're actually listening. That makes me feel really good. Feels like, I'm not on here for nothing. I'm really helping in some way. I love that. Now, let me see. Oh, I do want to, this one's not so much a question as a thank you. And I did want to bring this forward because I do bring your comments forward. And I want to start with this really quick. We spoke on the last Ask Alena. We spoke about grief because a lot of people are going through stuff in this COVID generation that we're having right now, this pandemic. So she said, thank you, Alena, for speaking about grief. My family has lost so many during this pandemic. I appreciate your wisdom. And I have to say, thank you. Thank you for sending in the comment, and thank you. And my prayers and much healing light to give you strength and solace during this time. Because it is a difficult time. And if that, I pray that show must have given you some insight on how to deal with the grief. Just remember, grief is a very personal thing. And it can be hard, but it can also be a way to develop a new relationship with the person who has passed on in their journey. So, okay, now on to the next one. Oh, okay. We're going to go with the critic. And this is a good one. All right. Let's see if I can read this. It says, Alena, I don't get you. Okay. Life is crazy right now. How can you and others like you just shut it off? Are you heartless or just living in an ivory tower? Well, I'm glad that they aired that out, but you know what? That's not a criticism so much, actually, guys. That's a question. And that person saying, hey, I'm caught in this reality and I don't like it. How are you living it so good? Are you just fake, or are you living in that ivory tower? I wish I was living in an ivory tower sometimes. But no, I'm down here with you. So let's talk about that. Very, very, very important. We can get caught up in everything. And I spoke in the first question about that, getting out of the weeds, seeing over the trees. Let's put it in another way for this question. I think this is important because it's all perception. He's talking about perception. All right. So there was a time in my life where I had a choice. I had a choice in how I wanted to live. There was a world being presented to me on a daily basis in 100 different ways that was filled with, I called it the Twilight Zone. It was a world full of, insipidness. That's the word I see, insipidness. It was totally deceptive. It was filled with paranoia. It was filled with a world that wasn't really real, but it was display or illusions that were being brought forward to me for whatever reason. Wanted a lot of paranoia. You could easily go into paranoia if you got swallowed up. It was a world of dog eat dog. It was a world of just heartlessness and coldness. And it would have been very easy for me to get wrapped up into that world and just, end up like other women who had been presented with that. I know 5 other women who were presented with the same. There were probably more, but I only knew 5. And I know one did commit herself. And so I made a decision because of a friend. And that friend said, Alena, just take care of your own circle. And it really made me think. I sat down with like a piece of paper and I started writing down, what is my circle? And the first thing I wrote down is my kids. My kids, our family, their safety, their growth, us as a family unit. And then I started to also think about friends and the school and my job. All these things I started to put around. This was my circle. Yes, that terrible world out there of that paranoia and everything. Yes, did it stop just because I decided it should? No. But this is the thing. I put my focus on my circle. And from that circle, I opened my eyes first and saw where we were at. And I saw that my kids weren't handling the stuff well. I found that my job was suffering. I found that everything was falling apart because I was wrapped up in the drama of this terrible world being presented to me. So I got busy and I started to build the world I wanted to live in. I made my family stronger. I did all sorts of things to pull my boys together, to help them get through this. I made our home nice and safe. I started to really go for my job. I started to build new alliances that could help me. I pulled together a whole new world. And then when I did that, my perception of my world changed. Did that other world stop? No. Is this pandemic going to stop? No. Is everything else that's going on with the political climate right now going to stop? No. But it doesn't mean I have to live in it. So what I do when something happens and I have to take care of it, yes, I go and I take care of it, but I don't get swallowed up in the drama. I dock my boat at the shore, get off, have lunch, take care of the situation, get back in that boat, get back to my life. Do you see? And what does this afford? That's an example of building your perception. So no, I don't live in an ivory tower. However, I understand that perception is us. And I'll tell you, there was an experiment done. I can't remember, it was 1969 or 19. Anyway, it's called the split experiment. And it's done with light photons. And I don't do it justice explaining it. So look it up on YouTube. I think a Dr. Quantum is a wonderful layman's description of this experiment. And so they shot a bunch of light photons through a slit, and then it ended up on the blackboard in the back, okay, a flat board. And when they shot it through the slit, then, okay, just like you think, all of them align right along that slit on the backboard. You could see like a shadow of the slit, right? All right, so then they did two, and they thought each one, two slits, when it goes through two slits, they thought that both the slits would have, a definite line, but it didn't. In fact, the lights crossed each other. Isn't that interesting? And started to spray a little. So then they tried three, thinking they were going to have more of a mess. Well, this is where it got really interesting. One time, now you'll have to correct me if you see this and you see a little bit different. I'd love to hear your opinions, of course. But when they put it through the three slits, all of a sudden, they would be standing on the other end where the flatboard was, expecting these light photons to go in a certain way. And they found that whatever they really expected is how the light photons formed. I will say that again. However they expected, that is how the light photons formed. Interesting, isn't it? That was one of the first real experiments that showed that we control matter. Now, that's a show right there, isn't it? And that our perception is what does it. Perception to me fascinates me. Fascinates me. I can study it forever. And to know that how we perceive ourselves in this world and our world creates every move and everything in it. Isn't that powerful? Well, everybody talks about, change your perception, la, la, la. This is why, because it can change matter. It can change everything. And because of my experience with that twilight zone, I know from the deepest part of me that I always have a choice. And I can perceive my world the way I want to perceive it. And then I can deal with that once in a blue moon, but I don't have to live there. I don't have to be there if I don't want to. Now, that doesn't mean we go off and we say, okay, I'm just going to hell with everything. No. And that's just a form of denial. Because I do know that world was there. And Lord, I was reminded about it every day, sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes 4. But it wasn't what I was building. Do you see the difference? Now, this works for your manifesting. This works for your everything. It works for everything. Finding the love in your life, doing the book, coming up with a new idea like I did going to Starbucks. It comes to everything. If my perception was that I was helpless at Starbucks and I couldn't do anything and it was up to somebody else to fix it, then that's my perception. And in that perception, no way in heaven could I have come up with an idea. It's up to us to start. So how do you build your perception? Well, get out that piece of paper, folks. Start with your circle. I'm going to share the same thing that was shared with me. Get out there and just sit down. What is your circle? Who is it? What is important to you? And then start to build it. You tap into that imagination with it and start building your world. And I mean, I was really active. With my kids, I decided, okay, we're going to have family meetings. We still have family meetings. And as they grow, let me tell you, it does turn interesting because I feel they have an opinion on everything. But those family meetings were really important. It gave the kids security. And then I would leave little notes in their little knapsacks, especially with cookies and things saying, do well on your test. I was building a world of security. I was doing every little baby step, little tiny little things that would make them feel secure in their world. And then also for me to feel secure in my world, I started to make sure that things were in order, that the home was protected, that we were, that I was building alliances with people that I knew could help and could move me in a different direction. Do you see? Yeah. It's different than getting swallowed up and reacting to the crisis every single minute and going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Yeah, you don't want to be there. That's not going to help you. Okay, so build your circle. Get your circle in order. And from there, you'll build your world. Okay, that was a very good question. Yeah, I thought that was a really good question. Thank you. So if you want to say that's an ivory tower, then have at it. Yes, maybe you should get one. All right. So, hello, Tara. Hello, Julia. All right. So I want to get on to this other question. And this other question is about something I'm very, very, very excited about. And thank you for this one actually came from Facebook. And I have been talking on Facebook about this. But it says, when is your 7-day restart to calm begin? And that's not the actual title, but I know what she means. Can you tell us more about it? Yes, I can. And thank you, whoever you are. They didn't put a name. Guys, you can put your first name, you know. I love to see names. Yes, it's actually, we're going to be starting, because of everything that's going on. And I actually wanted to do this even before COVID, because as far as I'm concerned, we've had drama every day for about 4 years now. So when it's called the 7-day restart, it's the 7-day restart to your inner calm. And I love it. It's a program that I am giving out that's free because it's my way to do my part in this world to help people. Everyone I talk to right now tells me, oh yeah, worry, anxiety, depression. That seems to be the common theme that everyone is telling me is going on in society. And also what I see. I've been kind of wrapped up in my own mom lately. But yes, it's very much out there. So I thought, okay, we need to find that inner peace now. So what you get, it's free. And it's coming out very soon. It should be coming out this week or the beginning of next. And if you're interested, then I'll send you a direct link. And all it is a video. I have done 7 videos that each one pulls from the Tao, the Lao Tse tongue. He has a wonderful meditation in there. From journeys to the how to stay what do they say? Sharp as a cat, but calm as a tree. I love that. So how do you do that when you go into that meeting and you can't go, but you're really nervous because you're going to speak and but you can't go into that meditation and hum? Okay, how do you do that? Well, there's a breath technique which gets you focused, aligned, but ready to go. So I do that. Also, I talk about how to get your whole place in order, a little place where you can really center yourself. There's just a lot. It's a wonderful way to begin your day with intention, focus, and calm. And the why I love it in a video form is that you can plug that in anytime. Say you're having a really stressful day. Well, you escape to the ladies' room or the man's room, or you go out to your car and you just pop this in, breathe, follow my voice, and then wham, in 10 minutes, you are set to go. And you're set back into your day. I think that if we all can gain that inner calm and that peace, well, it's like James Allen said, it is a deep inner calm within ourselves. And as a man thinketh, then you become that shaded tree, that calm force in turbulent waters. Okay? So the 7-day reset is how you can begin to get that wonderful place within yourself. And like I said, it's coming. You know what? Soul Manifesto is growing in so many incredible ways, and there are so many programs. But this is one thing we're offering free. But I really think you should take a look at Soul Manifesto, because it's got a new face, and it's got a new way that it is. My gosh, I can't believe some of the new programs we come out with. Oh, and I have news, and this is more for my happiness, but I want to spread it to you, and I want to celebrate with you right now, right here and now. Guys, I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. I finished my book. I don't think anybody thought it was going to happen. But it did. I have finished my book, and I have never... I have to tell you, I have 2 other books out, and they're international bestsellers. Okay, fine. But this is the thing. I love this book. I mean, honest to God, I love this book. I mean, the other 2 I liked, but this one, I feel so darn good. I mean, I really could sing. I am so happy about this book being out, and not just that it's done, but that I feel like it is such a good, it's just good. It's a good representation of everything. It's called Hello Soul, and I wrote it in a different way, because I don't tell you what to do. I think that's not a good way to go. So you're actually learning how to, if you want to learn, you're going on my journey as I started to open up to living by my soul. What does that mean? That means thinking from a higher perspective 24/7 in my life. And it's not letting the ego, the ego just disappears. Now, sometimes it'll sneak back in, but you are so there that when that ego starts coming in, no matter how sneaky it can be, and it can be sneaky, you can say, ooh, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like soul. And there's nothing better in the whole wide world than when you're driving down the road and you say, are you there, soul? And you hear, yes, Alena, of course. I love that. So this book is my journey, and it's done. So I want to get out there, and I want to let you guys know. I don't know when it's going to be on the market. I really don't. But it's one thing that I have been manifesting for a good 5 months. And I have to say, it feels so good when it's launched. You know? And that's what it's about, guys. It's about just doing what you need to do, getting lost in the process, getting lost in the creativity and the imagination, and just doing it step by step. Every chapter that I did, I didn't think, oh, this is going to be so awesome when it's done. No, what I thought was, okay, I want to bring in this story, and I want to talk about this, and how do I express what really happened in the best way so that you can understand. And I mean, I was lost in the whole story of it. And now it's done. It's amazing. For the first 2 days after this was done, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So when that book comes out, I will let you know. When it's done from the publisher and it's all in its pretty packaging, then I will get it out. You might enjoy it. It is an incredible, incredible show. And I was looking on Facebook, because we always do a Facebook Live now, and people are listening like crazy, but no one is asking a question. So I want to bring up a little bit about the worry, doubt, and fear. And we did talk a little bit about this is going to be quick. You know, if you are suffering, let's go right to the heart of it. If you're suffering from depression at all, and it can be little depression, you don't have to be a full-blown, I'm a depressive clinical diagnosed depression, but you just feel in the doldrums, you got to break the energy. Now, if you find that you're always depressed, or that you're spinning down that tube like we talked about, and you don't have the sides, and everything I said doesn't make sense, and you can't get yourself out of that darkness, then I urge you to get yourself into a psychologist. You've got to talk to someone, because that place is not real. It's not real, and you don't have to stay, but you need help. You need somebody to give you things to grab onto. So please go to a psychologist. And then as far as everyone else who's you're down about this COVID, you're down about, maybe you don't have a job. You've got to break the energy. And just like in my life, I had to break the energy of all that paranoia and that trying to get me into paranoia, which wasn't very successful, thank God. But that horrible world, I had to break the energy. I had to do something drastic to get myself out of that. And maybe your drastic can just be for 5 days, I'm going to get up and say, what do I want to do that's fun to me? And do the first thing that comes to your mind. Maybe it's, I'm going to write my own book. Maybe I'm going to do something that just launches me away from all this noise and the COVID and all the crap. And maybe I'm just going to maybe I'm going to write a song. Maybe I'm going to put all my words down in poetry. I am going to break that energy. Maybe I'm just going to put on music and dance my way through the house. Break up the energy. Let the bad energy go. Get into something different and new. You can always go back. But let's get you out of there. And then guess what? You have a choice. We got to have those choices. All right. Guys, this has been a good Ask Alena. I love your questions. I love even the critic. Thank you for making me think. And like I said, check out Soul Manifesto and that 7-day reset to your inner calm. And oh my gosh, watch for Hello Soul. I am so happy about that. But most of all, take whatever you learned, whatever you gleaned, and use it this week to add that ease and betterment for your life. And yes, it's easy. Remember that spirit is love, and you, my dear, every time you have love, you are spirit. Namaste.
This has been Magical Moments with Alena, featuring Alena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, CastBox, Deezer, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Learn more online at soulmanifesto.com.
Podcasts by Federated Media.